Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kristine Baker. I'm a certified LifeLine practitioner. I'm also a chiropractor based out of Kansas City and Pittsburgh, Missouri, if you know Southwest Missouri at all. And I am here with certified LifeLine practitioner and licensed massage therapist and holistic health coach. This is Jamie Murphy. She comes to us from Southern California. So, hi, Jamie. Why don't you share a little bit about with everyone what you love about Lifeline and how it's impacted your life and the people that you support.
Thank you, Dr. Kristine Baker, for having me on today. I am so excited to share that I've come across the LifeLine Technique 12 years ago. In the moment that I found it, I was actually at a colon hydrotherapy convention because it was a huge part of my life, supporting people in on-body services with lots of letters behind my name. Since then, 12 years ago, and pandemic, I've shifted into an all online capacity of really helping people raise vibration as predominantly using the LifeLine Technique day in and day out with all of the clientele that I work with now virtually and in person. So when I first came across the LifeLine Technique, it was an add-on service. And in the process of learning it and applying it for myself, it really became something so much more. And in that, the LifeLine Technique is a modality, a philosophy, and an experience. And it's applicable to each and every person in moving through life and creating foundation in moments where we oftentimes don't feel like we have a literal lifeline to grab onto. So for me, one of the biggest ways that it impacted me was that I had gone through a lot of childhood trauma, big T trauma experiences, and had spent a lot of time moving through those experiences with traditional modalities like talk therapy and really understanding how the body expresses the things that we've experienced in our lives, which showed up with a really strange gift in wrapping paper of an autoimmune diagnosis in early college. And on my own, I was able to move through those things with ancient and healing modalities. The Lifeline brought understanding and a whole new way of being with these deeper parts of myself in ways that traditional therapies and processes, breathing techniques, affirmations, meditation, those kinds of things did not pull together. Lifeline allowed me to understand that perception and energy and how it interfaces in the body isn't something that's controlled, it's influenced. And like the fact that a Lifeline session can be non-content and in a single moment change and impact like it did for me, things like not sleeping through the night, feeling anxiety every time you're in the presence or company with a particular person. I mean, really, truly, the things that the Lifeline can influence and impact are limitless. And it just made me so passionate to share this with the world above and beyond just addressing on-body symptoms and experiences. My background was very much physical, like yours, as a massage therapist and nutrition consultant and colon hydrotherapist. And I joke and kid with everybody that it took me 20 years to get to the mindset space and root cause of subconscious healing. And that's just been a game changer for me in my life. So I'm passionate about sharing it.
Awesome. And I know that you have a special place in your heart for children and school-age children. And I know you're a mom of two girls. And how has Lifeline made a positive impact on your ability to help them through their emotions, right? Because, I know when I was a teenage girl, I had lots of big feelings, lots of big emotions. And I really wish now that I could have had access to something like the Lifeline Technique to help support me as I was adapting to big changes in my body. So how has that been helpful or positive for your family, if you don't mind sharing?
So I get to experience the best of all worlds. I grew up very rooted in a masculine culture. I'm the only girl with 4 boys as siblings. And now I get to have the experience of 2 daughters and massive femininity in my day-to-day life, which came with tons of emotion. And the number one piece that I love about my relationship with my girls now that brings so much confidence to them is a perspective that emotions just are. And this is something that is not taught, I feel like, culturally in our Western society, and something that's so important. When we feel in ways that we wouldn't choose, we often connect stories that are rooted in those feelings and a lens of perception that affects our behavior on the daily. It affects our confidence and how we feel in the relationships that we engage in. And because I've known the LifeLine technique and philosophy and practice, my girls are able to show up with such grace and learning muscle testing and being able to identify and observe themselves in an emotional sense, even if they can't specifically name it. And there's just such a depth and wisdom that I truly hope that every child can learn, because it's non-content. You don't have to relive trauma. And it gives a confidence in practice of being with yourself in a deep way that owns radical responsibility in experiencing life. And that in and of itself is a game changer from a parental perspective. So I hope that answers your question.
I know I have a stepson, Brett, and he loves getting LifeLine sessions. He'll ask for them, which is really awesome because not everybody is to open or like, yes, I need one, or I should get one, or hey, do you have time later today to do one with me? And he will, say infinite love and gratitude, like when we're all stressed out together. And so watching him process through some big emotions, he's had some big stressful things happen in his life, also important people in his life, and it has made a profound difference and helped smooth out his experience of life so that he isn't and I can say that for myself too, like not so stuck in it for so long, right? Because sometimes you get in this triggered emotional reactive pattern and it feels like it's never going to change. Like that you're always going to be angry, or you're always going to be in grief, or you're never going to be okay ever again because something really big just happened. And what I love about LifeLine is that it helps shorten that window of time that you feel triggered and not in control and not empowered and not in your best self. And so I always say it gets me weeks to months of my life back every time I have a session or give myself a session or receive a session. And for those of you that don't know much about LifeLine, you can do self sessions as well as sessions on other people. So a lot of people, like for me, I was like, oh, I need this for my patients, right? I'll have people come in with the same left shoulder pain. I've done 6, 8, 10 adjustments. They should totally be way better by now. Still bad, still miserable. And I'm like, there's some emotion. So I personally was looking for what's something I can use to get in and like a laser, help them process those stuck emotions. And what I love about LifeLine is, like you said, it's non-content. There's no story. I don't need to know everything that happened to them. They may not even know what all it is either, because it's all subconscious. If it was conscious, you'd already know what it was. But it's below their conscious awareness. They just need to connect to what emotions in there. Like, well, what emotions in your left shoulder? Anger. Great. See the anger. Guess what? I have no idea what they're seeing. And for love and gratitude. Okay, feel the anger in your body. Where do you feel it? Okay, in your chest. What's it feel like? Tight and twisty inside. Great. Send love there. Infinite love and gratitude, right? And then what's the voice of anger say? And they're like, what? I might pretend anger is sending you a text message. What's the message? And they're like, I'll never be enough. And I'm like, ooh, that's a deep one, right? Infinite love and gratitude. And then a lot of times there's multiple layers. That's called a black hole. But that's part of what we call the see, feel, hear process. And as simple as that, I can literally feel their shoulder unwinding as they're seeing, feeling, and hearing that emotion. So it really has helped me laser in on people's stuck spots where they really feel like, oh, I really been working on the shoulder for a long time and I just can't get it like to 80 or 90 or 100%, right? And so it's really helped me facilitate people speeding up, more efficiently processing their emotions, and just getting to a better feeling place. So it's been really fun, even though you don't have to touch someone to do LifeLine because you can do it remotely. It is fun for me as a chiropractor and craniosacral therapist to unwind a shoulder or unwind this part of their body that's hurt for years while also processing those emotions with it. So LifeLine's so versatile. There's a ton of different applications. You know, Jamie works primarily remotely. I'm a combo of in-person and remote. There's so many applications, and you don't have to be a hot mess to get a LifeLine session. Sometimes some of your best sessions are, I feel pretty good. I just want to elevate my experience. So you can take yourself from an awesome place to an even more awesome place with doing a LifeLine session too. It doesn't have to just be like a crisis, urgent need situation. So that's one thing I love about it.
You bring up an amazing point, Dr. Kristine, in why I have chosen to make this my primary focus in my loving and what I show up with in terms of supporting people in the world. You know, it isn't taught, at least not even in the things that I had studied before now, the impact the subconscious mind has influencing our body. You know, I really feel like there's been a huge trend in that in the last, say, 15 years. Lots of text recently with Joe Dispenza's work and a variety of other great minds in science. But like, I was working with people in body work and colon therapy and nutrition, and they're doing everything right? Like they're supporting themselves in this self-care phenomenally, and the physical component pieces aren't changing. And the clients of mine that were open and ready and willing to engage in conversations about emotion and about vulnerability and about what they were witnessing within their bodies, what they felt, you know, what they noticed, that power of observation, those people had game-changing experiences versus the people that were just like, oh, just fix me, right? Like, oh, just give me a massage, just do the adjustment. And then they come back the next time, right? And you're like, same symptom, same response, because the key component piece of presence within themselves wasn't being tapped into. And 30 years of body work and 17 years of colon therapy later, I was like, dude, I don't want to focus on the physical symptoms and support. God love you if you do, and that is your jam. Because
there's amazing people out there that are awesome physical support, you know, and I love all of it, right? I love supporting physically. I love doing remote LifeLine sessions. I'm still kind of mind blown, right, as a chiropractor who's trained that I have to touch you to help you, to see time and time again. My remote clients are like, my pain just went from a 9 to a 2 in an hour and you didn't even touch me. I'm like, yep. Exactly. Same thing happened to me. I had severe back pain. I literally had to like hold the rail to go up my house, my stairs. It was so bad. I could barely walk. I texted a friend who's a LifeLine practitioner, Dr. Jennifer Murphy-Moravoli. She gave me a LifeLine session remotely over FaceTime. And in an hour, I went from 9 out of 10. I can barely walk to literally 1 to 2 out of 10. I could walk down the stairs, not hold on to the rail, no pain. Literally didn't touch me. And that's what really is a powerful paradigm shift for me as someone who's trained that I have to touch you to help you. And like getting to share that, like, you can, and there's such value in it, right? There's such value. I love getting a massage. I love getting adjusted. I love craniosacral therapy. There's such value in that. And we're not taught how to process our emotions. We're not handed a manual of, here's how your brain works. Here's how your subconscious mind protects you when life's too hard. And then it circles back when you're ready to process, and it'll look a lot like headaches, shoulder pain, constipation, whatever it is. It's your body going, hey, can we talk? That was really rough, but now you are way more capable and it's time to process. And that can look a lot like having a health crisis. That can look a lot like feeling overloaded and overwhelmed. And it can turn into something beautiful, right? You can take that fertilizer of life and turn it into something beautiful, a gift in strange wrapping paper. And so thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us today. If this intrigues you at all, if this interests you at all, if you want to learn more about it, we have an amazing in-person opportunity coming to Kansas City, Missouri this November 3rd through 8th. It's 6 days of an amazing immersion into the LifeLine technique. The first 3 days are the nuts and bolts of the 16-step process that is the LifeLine technique founded by Dr. Darren Weissman. He will be teaching the entire 6-day program that's coming up. And then the next 3 days, the second 3 days, November 6th through 8th, is Personal, Professional, Family Life Mastery, which is my personal favorite seminar in the entire world, where you get to spend an entire day looking at taking a deep dive into personal things like, what do you want for the future, right? You would never choose to have neck pain or back pain or shoulder pain or stress in a relationship, right? But what do you want? And then creating an intention. Everyone creates an intention that's there. And then Dr. Darren has the group intention. He harmonizes that. You get to do some beautiful vision work afterwards. And my favorite part is, one, the group session with Darren, and then two, getting to read my vision to the whole group. And there is nothing like a group of LifeLine practitioners and people learning LifeLine in a space that can be held when people really know how to hold space, if you know what I'm talking about. And so that's been some of my juiciest, most amazing experiences. And the great part is it's all non-content. So nobody has to hear what things you don't want to share about your stressful life. Like nobody, you're not going to be in front of the group saying, oh, my left shoulder hurts or whatever. You're literally going to be sharing like, here's the vision I have for the future based upon my intention. Everybody listens to it. And I just recently interviewed Judy Moon, another LifeLine practitioner, and she said being in the group setting and the group LifeLine sessions with like Dr. Darren and that 3 days or 6 days or the whole thing, doing personal, professional, family life mastery, also previously known as boot camp if you've been around for a while, it's like the difference between listening to your music on your phone, on speakerphone, and then being at like a concert with a professional musician system, music sound system, and it's like such an amplified experience. And I was like, oh my gosh, Judy, that is the best explanation I think I've ever heard about what it's like to be in this group dynamic setting. So if that interests you at all, feel free to reach out to me, Dr. Kristine Baker. You can find Jamie Murphy on Facebook and in the LifeLine support groups. She supports our students every week, and or reach out to the LifeLine Center. They're happy to answer any questions. And hopefully we'll see a whole bunch of you November 3rd through 8th. Thanks so much, Jamie, for your time today. Infinite love and gratitude.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Kristine. Infinite love and gratitude.